Hello everyone, my name is Sylvain Rochon and I'm getting people to expand their human experience using cutting-edge technology. Today I'll be talking about how we're being immersed by artificial intelligence and how it's not so obvious right now, but we're surrounded by artificial intelligence already and it's only going to get more and more intense. Part of the reason why it's not so obvious is because it's been sneaking up on us. For example, Google search is a very commonplace piece of software. It has artificial intelligence. We're using it every day, and it's a piece of software essentially that tailors what the results of our searches based on our history and what our behaviors are, and whatever piece of data Google can decipher from the web, purchase habits, profiles on social media, and so on and so forth. Facebook is doing a lot of AI work where it kind of recognizes faces, for example, on pictures, because I don't know if you noticed, but it tags pictures automatically. If you it knows where the faces are on the pictures, and you just kind of say, well, is this person? You can confirm it, but you don't have to write down the name. It already knows from elsewhere that this is a certain person. It recognizes faces and things like that, and it's learning. And of course, we have a bunch of people that are using digital assistants and chatbots like Siri, Cortana, Alexa, Google Assistant, and these are fairly rudimentary pieces of software and AI for now. And they've been somewhat frustrating, and they're not so intelligent. But behind the scenes is is the real development. So it's all around us already, but not too cool, not too advanced, not that impressive. But I don't know if you noticed, but what I describe is everywhere. If you have a Windows machine, you have Cortana. If you have an iPhone, you have Siri. It's there, right? So it is all around us. And what these companies, by these companies I mean Google, IBM, Baidu, Microsoft, Facebook, IBM, maybe I mentioned. These companies are investing huge amounts of money in developing and distributing artificial intelligence. Just last year, 2016, Microsoft and Baidu is Microsoft equivalent, I guess, in China. They've both invested between $20 and $30 billion in artificial intelligence. 90% of that expense is actually R&D and deployment. 10% only is in acquisition of new startup companies in AI that are doing some specific things. These are huge amounts of dollars. A very strong increase from previous years. And in 2017, if the trend continues, the companies in general that are interested in AI would have invested at the end of the year over 3 times as much. I'm not saying Google is spending more than that. I'm talking the industry in general are making 3 times more investments in AI this year compared to last year, which already huge. So there's an increase in investments in these technologies. So even though Siri may not be so cool and Alexa may be a bit of an idiot, that's this version right now. There's lots and lots of resources put into making it all smarter, more connected, more devices. So you can expect very, very quickly to have a lot more AI that are surrounding you kind of in the background, because it's there, but it's inside your devices, your connected devices. We're not adding devices so much, we're just making them smarter, and we're able to talk to them and they understand better, so people are going to be more inclined to use them on a more regular basis. That's the big play. So we're going to be transforming in the next few years through improvements of these AI assistants, and also into simultaneous translation earbuds and things like that Google and Fujitsu and other companies are putting big money in, so that we are able to communicate with our connected devices and each other very easily, giving orders, and they're carried out intelligently instead of just now basically doing search for us. So it'll still be surrounding us, but in a much more useful way as we move forward. So we'll be further immersed, but obviously immersed in artificial intelligence and helpers that will be able to tell to do something while we do other things. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means a lot more productivity, of course, because instead of using a mouse and a keyboard to do certain things and having productive software that are doing pretty good, like autocorrect on Windows on Word has always been very practical. We've been using it for a little while. Things like that. These are still going to be there, but now we're going to be able to very reliably dictate. We're already able to do it, but more reliably dictate. Like Microsoft's Cortana, for example, their AI has been rated as good as a human or better at voice recognition. Now that means like human beings do make mistakes when they listen to each other, when they talk to each other. Now their AI is better than a human at recognizing what the other person is saying. So just talking to your computer, they'll be able to understand everything you're saying, and if they get it, then they can execute in the background. So this makes this folly that a lot of people are very worried about, of this folly and confusion about technology always progressing and advancing at a very fast pace these days, and it's accelerating. They're very, very worried. A lot of people are worried about it. It's like, how can I keep up? How can I keep productive and keep up to date if things are advancing so fast? Well, this very technology, these assistants, for example, these AI assistants that are able to better and understand what you're trying to do, they'll be able to assist you even in the background without you even prompting them, and keeping you up to date for you, or being up to date for you, so that you just need to see things on the surface, for example. Okay? So just like my father, who's very computer illiterate, he's very worried. He's like, well, how can I keep up? I says, don't worry about it. It's going to become easier, not more difficult. Because we can always talk and explain what we want things done. We want to I want to communicate with my nephew. All right, the AI is going to figure out the best way to do it. Install whatever software needs to be installed, and just give you a microphone. Say, okay, speak here, and I'll ring up for you. You don't need to figure out what software is best, what compatibility to your system. The assistant is going to be able to handle that for you. And all you need to tell is, like, okay, I want to talk with my nephew. And everything else can be taken care of in the background. Now, this is not today, right now, but we're moving towards that. So it's getting more complicated, but it's going to get simpler because of the advances in technology. We're going to be employing these artificial intelligences that are being developed at huge expenses by large firms, and we'll be able to use them and integrate them more to make our lives easier and less headaches. And that's really a strong positive, because we want, as human beings, what we want to do, we want to focus on what we like to do, what we want. We don't want to have headaches. We just want to get things done. And we want to get things done for ourselves, for our family, for our work, to do it. If we can just give that minutia to AI and they do it well, great. Then we just focus on being creative and on getting things done between me as a person and a recipient or an objective. And everything in between eventually will be handled by this artificial intelligence, and they'll be customized to what you want and the way you want it, because they'll learn your habits, just like Google search is learning, what you like to see in your search results, right? It's all about data availability and deep learning and all these things. It's getting really, really excited, but that's where we're going. We're going to get immersed to a certain point where we won't even notice it, but we'll accept artificial intelligence as part of our lives, as a natural extension of ourselves and our equipment, because it's so gradual how we get brought into it with updates and upgrades as we come along. Of course, this will cause some problems, some positive problems to me, like further unemployment, because if we eliminate a lot of the work and the AI is doing pretty much everything, what are we achieving? We're eliminating a whole bunch of middlemen, if you will, that were supposed to be manipulating things, and now they're not there anymore. We're replacing brains with AI. We're replacing creativity and customization and things like that, which are usually the purview of small firms that are doing things a certain way for a certain subset of the population. Consultants that are doing things in a specific way. AI will adapt to that faster than human beings can. It doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that human beings don't have any value anymore in the near future. It just means that we'll have to rethink how we define value in our purpose in our society. And that's really important to define, because even if we don't work, every human being has a value. And think about that. What's your value in your community, in your family, if you don't assign your value exclusively through your work? Because you'll need to think about that real soon. Anyway, we'll talk about all this at another time, another week, for another blog and another video. If you like what I'm talking about here in the blogs and the videos, feel free to subscribe. I put up my blog in the description down below, so you can check out on all the links for a bunch of the information that I mentioned. And of course, if you like to leave a comment, suggestions, and just discuss about this in the comment section, you're very welcome. I will see you next week for another topic.